we've invited Austin Goolsbee. He chaired Barack Obama's Council of Economic Advisors. He now works at the University of Chicago, and we're happy to have him tonight. Austin, thanks a lot for coming on.
Yeah, great to see you again, Tucker.
So I'm not making an argument against college or against student loans, against education. I'm just wondering how we have a system where for colleges there's only upside. They get federally backed student loans and they've gotten very rich from it, but they share none of the risk. So why wouldn't colleges co-sign every student loan for their students?
Well, let me say I applaud your paying attention to this. Getting people a higher level of educational attainment is one of the most important things for economic growth in this country. Now, I think you've gotten a little off track, perhaps, on the details of these. The first is nonprofit, not-for-profit universities don't get rich. For-profit educational institutions have become a way disproportionate share of the student loan defaults and are absolutely one of the biggest problems that's going here. But that's different from
but hold on. But no, haven't gotten rich. You work at a university that has an $8.2 billion endowment, whose president makes almost $2 million a year. You've gotten rich from it. Drive to the University of Chicago. It's in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the country. 40% of the people in your neighborhood are below the poverty line. So you're rich from it. It's federally backed. Students have to live with that debt for the rest of their lives till they pay it off, but you are not on the hook for it. So why wouldn't you co-sign the loan? It's super simple.
Okay. I'll give you. Why would you not put co-signing responsibilities onto the universities?
Yeah.
Because that would lead the universities to then do a credit check and deny the student loans to exactly the kinds of people who don't have family income. They would become a higher risk credit.
Why would the University of Chicago discriminate against poor people with bad credit histories? You've got an $8.2 billion endowment. Why would you discriminate like that?
Tucker, as you know, when they use the endowment for financial aid, that's a different proposition than co-signing for a loan. Just like if you had a mortgage.
I'm sorry. I just want to ask this question because I think it's really important. And you're not really answering it.
I agree.
So you're saying that you can't co-sign the loan because you would discriminate against people who might not pay it back. So they should be stuck with it.
You would want to take the lowest financial risk if you're signing up financial aid. The University of Chicago does not make the loans, as you know, Tucker.
I'm aware. The U.S. government now does, thanks to Obama, and U.S. taxpayers back those loans up. So basically,
yes,
you're outsourcing the risk to taxpayers.
Where the defaults are happening.
Because of lobbying from you guys and other billion-dollar endowment schools, kids are stuck with these loans. They can't get out of it with bankruptcy.
You're right to be concerned about the for-profit education
I'm not concerned.
sector.
I'm right to call you guys out for the scam you're
for-profit schools are approaching 50%.
You're trying to shift the blame.
Massively disproportionate share of the student loan
And I'm not defending the University of Phoenix. What I'm doing is asking why you work at a school with an $8.2 billion endowment in one of the poorest neighborhoods in the country. Okay, talk about rich and poor. And you're saying you won't co-sign the loans because you don't feel like it. And I'm saying, Tucker, maybe you could help a little bit.
If you want to make the payback of loans tied that you would get forgiveness of loans, for example, if you entered a public sector job or if you took a job where your future income would not be high, I think that is a valid point that we should look at.
But why aren't you helping? You're asking taxpayers to help. And by the way, what about I just got to ask, I've always wondered this. As you walk out of the University of Chicago into a neighborhood where 40% of the people almost live below the poverty line, do you ever think maybe we should let them eat in the cafeteria? Can people from the neighborhood eat in the cafeteria at Chicago?
I live there, Tucker. Yes, There's a pay cafeteria at the campus, and anyone can walk in and go to Taco Bell or wherever they want to eat.
Can they go to classes, too?
If they pay tuition.
No, but they're poor. 40% live below the poverty line. Right next to your school with the $8 billion endowment.
I live in the neighborhood, Tucker. You went to an elite college. You went to elite schools.
I'm just asking, what are you doing to help?
What is like the neighborhood? It is open to the public. You have to
so they
be
can go to your classes.
The
poor people can go to your classes at Chicago? They can just walk in and go?
If they are enrolled as students, they can go to my class.
If they pay
$77,000 like every other school
a year
in the country.
Right.
The majority of students, Tucker, in this country, in college, are at community colleges and junior colleges.
Right. No, but
Some
you want to shift the blame. I'm talking about the most prosperous, the most fortunate colleges, the one that you work at.
Which means
and I'm asking what you're doing to help, and you're saying nothing, not really anything to help.
The student loan problem, Tucker, schools like the ones you went to or the ones I went to are not the student loan problem in this country.
You're not the problem.
That's not where the default rates are.
Well, it's not a problem for you. $8.2 billion endowment. It sounds like no problem at all. It sounds great.
Here we go again. You want to tax endowments,
I don't want to tax.
But you don't want to tax
I just want you to pay your fair share and stop lecturing America about how it's immoral while you get $8.2 million sitting in a bank account and the neighborhood around you is impoverished.
Tucker, you went to the elite schools of this country.
I did.
What we should focus on is making college affordable and making it so that people can pay back their loans.
All right.
And that means not cutting their financial aid.
Make college affordable. So tuition has risen much faster than inflation. It's $77,000 to go to Chicago.
Not
if you want to make it in
Chicago, but yes.
University of Chicago is $77,000, at least as of today. Why haven't you kept it down to $30,000 since you've got $8.2 billion in your endowment?
They have given literally billions of dollars of financial aid for people who have middle and low incomes so that they don't pay that list price. I don't think that people like you, for example, Tucker, who could afford to pay the full amount, should have your children going with the subsidy from the other students. They should use the money from the endowment
middle-class people
to
get
pay
stuck with
for
that
low
number.
and middle income
You're
students.
ripping them off, and you know that you are. And I hope at least there's some effort to make the problem that you created a little better. That's all I'm asking.
The statistics. If you get a college degree, you make $25,000 a year more every year for the rest of your life on average.
That's true in some places. 40% of flight attendants have college degrees.
That is on average in America.
40% of flight attendants have college degrees. The median wage is $50,000 a year. Tell me that's a good deal for them. It's not. It's a ripoff.
You know what, Tucker? I agree with you. Let's reinstate the gainful employment rules so that people who can't make back the money to pay off their student loans do not get ripped off by for-profit education providers.
All right. Austin Goolsbee, we're out of time. I wish we had more time. I'll see you at the cafeteria in Chicago. Thank you.
It's always fun to debate you, Tucker.